ask, and then we'll open it up and maybe take time for another question or two. We will be able to get more information from them in the written questions. So if you don't get a chance to ask your question today, then write it down, and we'll be sure to include it in the, maybe try to include it in the written questions. Okay, so Cap, you can go ahead and begin and just introduce yourself. To say a little bit about you and why are you running.
Sure. Well, good evening, everybody, and thank you for having us come speak. I really do appreciate it because you guys are out there actually putting stuff into action. I think it was really cool reading the papers, seeing you guys protesting. I think that's exactly what this county needs, so I'm honored to be here tonight. So my name's Bianca. I'm running for Bel Air Town Commissioner. Like Tracy said, there's 3 vacancies this year, and there's 7 people running. The election is November 5th. So just a little bit about me. I live in town, I work in town, I live in Homestead Village. We have a little library. I think I've seen you there once or twice, get some books, so please come and buy a few books. But I also work in town. I work for the Circuit Court of Harford County. I run the community service program for the county. So it's an alternative to incarceration. So we work with over 75 nonprofits in Harford County to help place our individuals and do some good in the community. It's a really good program. Done a lot of good things. Before that, I spent my time working in corrections, spent 8 years working for the sheriff's office in the detention center. I did case management, reentry case management, trying to actually keep people out of jail from returning to jail. That was a tough job, but it was very worthwhile for the community. So the reason I'm running is, I'm married, I got a little kid, he's 2.5 years old. He's part of the reason why I'm doing this, because you guys are all about putting things into action. That's what you guys do. And I think it's really important that there's somebody on the Board of Town Commissioners who's thinking about decisions that are going to affect us 10, 20, 30 years in the future. Because I think a lot of the problems that we're having in Harford County in general are because people are doing the short-sighted thing and not thinking about how it's going to affect us down the road. And now we're paying the cost with development, infrastructure, and everything else that we're dealing with, and the school issues that we're dealing with as well. So my goal is to think about how decisions are going to affect my kid, because my kid's going to be going to school, soon, and you're out there leading the fight, Wade, so I commend you for that. And just real quick about my environmental background, I grew up in an environmental household. My father continues to work for Maryland Department of the Environment. He's been there 42 years. My mother retired from the Department of Natural Resources after 20-some years. We grew up just being outside, hiking, fishing, learning about all that cool stuff. My summer camps were always environmentally themed, learning about water quality tests and soil conservation and things like that. I really enjoyed it. I went to an environmental science magnet middle school over in Loch Raven, so for 3 years we learned about all kinds of stuff, worked at the Chesapeake Bay Foundation, did tree plantings, all that cool stuff. So I'm really big on the environment. I really do try to get out there and help. We still volunteer 2 or 3 times a year. It's harder with the toddler, but we try and get out there and do stuff through Isaac Walton League. I'm not a member, but we volunteer through them, do roadside cleanups. We adopted a road in northern Harford County near Palmer State Park. So really try and get out there.
Thank you very much. Aaron, you were the second one. The first one here today. Yep. So let's go next.
Thank you. And again,
very loud.
Okay.
Okay.
And again, thank you so much for having me. My name is Erin Hughes. I've lived in Bel Air since roughly 1982 or 83, pretty much my entire life. Went through the Bel Air school system. I'm a graduate of Bel Air High School. I have a bachelor's degree in biology from College of William and Mary, a minor in biochem. I then went to nursing school at Johns Hopkins School of Nursing, and worked at Johns Hopkins Hospital for a while and a few other healthcare facilities in the region. About 5 or 6 years ago, I got a computer science degree from the University of Maryland University College, and since then I've been doing software development for a contractor over at Aberdeen Proving Ground. We support Army Research Lab. I also do some per diem work with the Nursing Skills Lab over at Harvard Community College. So The reason I'm running for the Bel Air Town Commission is I've always been active in the community, whether it was in high school with 4-H, the band, or later in life I've been really involved with the Bel Air Downtown Alliance. More recently, I'm a fixture at pretty much every Fourth Fridays and the Barbecue Bash and a lot of the other events that they have going on downtown. Although I had lived in the Bel Air area my entire life, it's only been about 2.5 years since I've owned a property in the town of Bel Air, and I just fell in love with it. Just to be able to walk out of your house and walk anywhere you want to go, to be able to appreciate the unique architecture, the cute boutique shops, the fantastic restaurants and breweries and public spaces that we have in our town. I really appreciate that. My main purpose is sort of twofold. I have some of the same concerns about overdevelopment, not only in the county but in areas of the town as well. There are certain things that are going up that I just don't think really are serving our community. So I would like to find a balance for a sustainable Bel Air where we can balance the needs of the economy with business, but also make sure that the quality of life for the residents is not negatively impacted, and also bolster the green spaces and protect the environmental resources that we have within the town limits. One of the ways I'm trying to go about this is, for those of you who live in town, you probably know that the turnout for the town commission elections is pretty abysmal. Like, I think in the last election, 2017, there were a little over 7,000 registered voters who were eligible to vote in the election, and I think maybe only less than 400 votes were cast. It was like 5% of the eligible voters came out. So, and a lot of people that I've talked to in the last couple months really don't know. They confuse the town commission with the county council, and they don't really know what the town commission does. So I set up a Facebook page, Erin Hughes for Bel Air Town Commissioner, and a few times a week I'm putting out valuable voter education blurbs, just little paragraphs, take a few minutes to read each one, but I'm talking about how the town commission works, how many people are on it, how much money do they make, what are their term limits, what committees do they serve, what projects that impact your daily life as a town resident, can I point to and say these are things that happen because of decisions that the town commission made. So I just feel like, and it may be a little naive, but I'm going to do it anyway, is if I can just get people more educated about what is going on in their town and how their town is run, then maybe they won't feel so disenfranchised and they'll be more willing to vote, get involved in the community, show up at town meetings, that type of thing. So, thank you very much for your time.
We're going to get a little bit more of our time. All right. And Donna Capo is our next candidate.
Hello, everyone. I'm Donna Capo. I know a few of you.
Can you hear in the back? I'm sorry. Can you guys hear?
A
little louder, really quick.
For those of you that don't know me, though, I am a lifelong resident of the county. I've lived in Bel Air for more than 20 years. I grew up in Aberdeen. I graduated from Aberdeen High School, and I spent a lot of my childhood on the Bay, so the Bay is very, very important to me. I monitor the Bay, both of the Bay, a lot. Follow what's being done on the federal level and the state level. Can't hear.
I really
Kicked
can't.
on.
We can turn it
We
off.
can't.
Where's that TWW microphone?
Donna, do you want me to go over by the
Yeah,
door?
that's
You like
right.
mid-room?
Yeah.
Good idea.
Okay, is it getting better? Oh, sorry.
That's good.
Then you don't have to do this. Maybe I can keep going. So I grew up in Aberdeen, graduated from Aberdeen High School, and many, many years later, I got my degree from Village Julie, which is now Stevenson University. I retired last year from T. Rowe Price after a long career as a legal analyst. But I continue to do volunteer work. I currently serve on the Board of Trustees for Stevenson University. I'm a member of the Harford County Women's Giving Circle, Greater Bel Air Community Foundation. I volunteer for Habitat for Humanity. I am also an oyster nanny, involved in the oyster restoration program for the Bay down through Baltimore City. And I am a former board member of the Liriodendron Foundation. And why I am running, my husband and I, we enjoy living in Bel Air very much. We live on Gordon Street, so it's very easy for us to walk just about anywhere in town, which is usually by way of the bakery, unfortunately. But I have been thrilled over the last 20 years that we've lived in this house to see the growth of young families in our neighborhood specifically, but in the community, and I'm very encouraged in the growth of the town and the restaurants, the breweries, and the shops. Erin and I see each other at the brewery often. But the shops and bringing a lot of visitors into town. So I'm very interested and concerned in the continued growth of the town this way. Because of this, I think it's important also to focus on the safety and walkability of downtown for residents and the visitors coming in. We have a lot of elderly people that also live in the town as well as the families. And I think, speed limits, monitoring speed, pedestrian walkways, I think we need a pedestrian walkway 101. People do not seem to understand what that's about. So I'm very concerned about pedestrian safety. We see things happen all the time, even in our neighborhood. I also think increased marketing our Main Street district is important to maximize the community facilities. The Armory is there. It's a great resource for any kind of event, and lately I see it not being utilized to its full potential, which I think could help even promote local merchants. Environmentally, growing up here, being connected to the Bay, it's always been very, very important to me. I am a firm believer that we're experiencing man-made climate change. I think it's important for everybody to work to prevent it and mitigate it. My husband and I, we strive to be very conscientious of our own environmental footprint, although my composting is not good. Somebody needs to help me with that. I reviewed the sustainability plan for the town. I think it's a good one, and I'm really happy to know that the Harford County Climate Action Group worked with the town to develop that. So I think it's important that the town monitor and assure that all of these projects that are slated in this plan are progressing and they are being kept on track. And I think it's imperative that we keep pressure on our delegation in Annapolis to also work to bring money back to help pay for these projects. So we can continue to improve the environmental strength in Bel Air. So those are my comments.
All right.